Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. Today we're going to be continuing on with Post Metal Week with another band that is just so highly requested, or at least it felt highly requested. I don't actually have as many comments as I was expecting to, but another band that I apparently can't do post metal with without including, and that is Neurosis. And we're going to be seeing a lot of the names from yesterday because a lot of people recommended Isis and Neurosis together. We have Mark Decken, Sanskar Wagley, Doran Bachagalupi, Edgar Castellanos, Mark Decken again, Dragonbug, Deathcopter, Monkey Toes, Kenneth Wiggins, Lesia Umanets, Blazer 13, and William Trewartha Jones. Apologies to any and everyone whose name I just utterly annihilated there. It was pretty resounding. Stones from the Sky is the song I should check out. That's what everybody said. There were a couple different tracks, but this one was definitely the one that was most requested. So, if Isis and Neurosis are bands I have to check out, and I really loved Isis, I got high hopes for Neurosis here. Let's go. For a band called Neurosis, this is a lot more pleasant than I expected it to be.
Once is enough, trial is alone. Grace fall into us. All through the night, Father, I crawl. Son of my soul, be revealed. Walking amongst the stones from the sky. Feeling their rhythm wash over me.
Alright, so the song's like, I don't know, halfway over about now. And we've really only had this one riff. I know post-metal's about repetition, but this is a bit much. I feel like I just got tricked. Alright, I wasn't sure if this was going to come back. Okay. Okay. Whale. That was interesting. We let me get a little situated for this. All right. So we just listened to a 10-minute song with one riff in it. Oh, this song definitely pushed me to my limits. Oh, that is not necessarily true, but it's close. It's close. Okay, so I feel like this takes post metal to the repetitive extreme. There's only one rhythm, one riff. It's present through the entire track, and it's what everything else is based off of. But there's not much else sitting on top of it. It sort of is in the spotlight, despite not really doing much. It's more of a texture sound floor kind of thing, just without the rest of the soundscape being taken up. Um, Even the lyrics, I don't think added much to it because they too fell into a rhythmic pattern. And since they weren't clean, since they were screams of some sort, they were more about texture rather than actual notes. So they're fairly reliant upon their rhythmic structure for to kind of differentiate itself from other vocal patterns. And yeah, so its core identity was rhythmic, and it used highly repetitious rhythmic patterns, basically like a riff for the lyrics. So there wasn't really much movement there. Then, guys, I really thought we were entering a really cool section with a lead line. We had, it wasn't a clean guitar, it wasn't a clean guitar, but it was higher in the range, and it started playing more of a melody line. Right? It had a nice little flow to it. It was like something like dun dun dun, something like that, but it's tremolo picked rather than notes held out. Um, but it was a 4 bar phrase, and it repeated several times, and I said I felt I got tricked, and I do. I thought we had a melody. I thought we finally had something to sit on top of this and provide, some story, some narrative, some forward momentum. Nope, just another thing to be repeated with everything else. Um, However, that doesn't mean the entire song is repetitious. If we strip out the notes, we forget about all the notes. There's still a lot of stuff going on here. They're being really playful with production. Now, closer to the end, I don't know how to explain it. It's an engineering thing, I'm going to assume. I don't think it was an instrument. Although I suppose this might have been able to be done with pedals on a guitar, but to me it was like a swirly sound, like distorted wind. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it was like, and I don't know if that's being properly conveyed because I use an AI to get rid of background noise, and I'm sure it thought that was background noise, unfortunately. So, yeah, it sounded like distorted wind, crackly but like swirly. And that was kind of going on there in the last few minutes, kind of sitting. It's almost like it was distorting the guitar sound, like it was sitting inside the guitar sound. I don't know how to properly convey that. That that is what I heard. It didn't so much sound like another instrument as a modification of the guitar sound to sound like wind underneath the actual, picking sound. Um, and then, of course, the song. broke down at the end. It got compressed, it got decompressed, it got overdriven, it clipped, uh, parts were cut out. There's a lot of interesting things going on in the end in the presentation of the music. And I think that's important because I wonder how much of the song can be viewed more positively in my eyes under that lens. It wasn't until, there were only a couple minutes left when these elements became really prominent in the song that I noticed that while the musicians were playing the same thing, there was some nuance going on in the engineering, in the equalizing, in, digital effects and distortion. So the notes on paper aren't changing, but the song is. Um, and this kind of harkens back to Godspeed You, Black Emperor, where the music itself I was talking about was fairly straightforward, but it was the presentation, it was how it was mixed and edited and done that, provided the intricacies of the song. And we're seeing that here, I think, where the guitarist is just playing the same two notes, two chords maybe. Yeah, two chords. I think I'm pretty sure they're chords. Not really interesting chords. Maybe just octaves. Maybe power chords. They were not. They were not very interesting chords. Um, but yeah. So just and then back down. Just jump in between these two. But the sound that was being presented was changing. And like I said, we had the compression, the decompression, the overdriving and cracking, cutting parts out. The song was being presented differently than what was being played. And I wonder if I viewed the entire song looking for these little digital changes, if I would appreciate it more because I would hear more of it. For, the first 70%, I was listening to the music, the notes being hit, the chords, how the chords are progressing, how any musical elements are working with the layering. Like when what I thought was a lead line, a melody coming in, um, how that was playing against the chords being played under it. And I was looking mostly at what would be the sheet music, what notes were actually presented in front of the musician to play on their instrument, not how that music was being altered and presented to the listener through digital effects. And that is, that's a bias of mine, that's a shortcoming of mine. First time I listened to music, I listened to it theoretically. I try to hone in on note relationships, chord progressions, chord relationships, chord characteristics. Uh, I don't. Sometimes I will pick out tone and timbre, but that's not necessarily what my ear goes to first. It has to be very unique. Like when we listened to Russian Circles, and that tone just struck me as something that I'd never heard before. You know, that definitely hits me. But for the most part, I'm looking at what would be on the sheet music. That's what I've kind of trained myself or have been trained to listen to when I listen, when I actively listen to music, is the notes. What could be written on paper. So presentation is something that I need to work on as far as first time listening analysis because it is something I'm not great at. It is not what I first jump to. Um, so yeah, I do wonder how my opinion of this would change on a second listen when I specifically looked for digital changes rather than what's just simply being played, what's being played on the guitar versus what's coming out of the amp. But this is a reaction channel. I tell you guys what I think about a first time listen, and it's kind of sitting where most of the post rock is at. Uh, I appreciate it for what it is. I appreciate that people enjoy it. that these people, these musicians enjoy playing it and creating this music. But it is not my cup of tea. All right, we got one more one more band this week for post metal, and you know I've made it through a week where so far I've only enjoyed one of the songs. But like I said, that doesn't mean I'm not walking away without an appreciation for this style of music. Um, so this is where you guys come in, though. You guys can let me know how wrong I am about Neurosis because they are fairly highly requested, especially when talking about post metal. These guys, I guess, kind of founded the genre with ISIS. Not collectively, not like they grouped up and said, let's make a new genre, but, they were kind of the pioneers, just coming out around the same time with this kind of stuff, I would assume. And I'm sure they hold a very dear place in many people's hearts. And I just said I didn't enjoy them. So that happens sometimes, though. I try to talk positively and look at some of the cool things that are going on, but not every song's going to be my cup of tea. So we can have some very cool discussions down in the comment section. Let's keep it civil as usual. We're allowed to disagree. We can have conversations and discussions about these bands, but we do not need to devolve into any sort of toxic community about it. We're here, all of us, to expand and learn more about music, not to trash other people. So let's keep it clean down there and have some fantastic discussions. Um, yeah, so tomorrow's the last day of the week for the theme stuff. We're going to be checking out the final band, which is easily one of the more requested bands ever. We've had them on the channel before, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. And we're going to be checking out one of their newer tracks, I think. I think. So, yeah, make sure you drop by tomorrow for that. We can finish up post metal. And then next week is post rock. I don't know how we got a post, a double post week, but that's what we're doing. Ooh. Well, I mean, it's not going to happen because it's not in the polls, but we should do post pop week. What is post pop? Should we make post pop like take pop sound but use it in a completely unconventional way? I mean, that sounds awesome. I got to start working on some post pop music right now. It's getting a little bright here. Let me drop that down. All right, so you guys can hit me up in the comments. Like I said, let's keep it civil. There's some buttons right above that, like, subscribe, and a bell. You can click those if you like. They help out the channel immensely. They also help out you if you'd like to be updated with notifications about the channel when I drop links. Nope, when I drop videos, you'll be notified. So, helps both of us. You might as well just do it. What what can it hurt? Just click the subscribe button. Real easy. Just click, done. Don't even gotta think about it. And then there's a comment sec. Nope. A discussion section. Nope. What's the other D? Description section. I'm losing my mind today. There's a description box. You can check some links in there for blocked videos or the spreadsheet if you'd like to add some requests, stuff like that. There's also a link to the Patreon if you want to get in on the polls to vote on this stuff, or check out the Discord community. That's all grouped up into the Patreon campaign. And yeah, that's about it. I'll be back tomorrow. Then we got special selection across the weekend. I'm trying to get multiple of those done, like 2 to 3 done per weekend to finally get through these lists. All right, so that wraps that up. You guys stay fantastic, stay awesome, stay safe, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.